Welcome, everyone. We're finally here. It's a special moment for me, special day for me. Culmination of a lot of work from a lot of people in the room. And yeah, I guess I get emotional about it already because there's been a lot of work gone in. But what is about to happen is, yeah, it's going to be a special time for us all. And Shannon, let's go. All right, our game has long been in Europe. Cricket is not a new sport in Europe. This guy, a hero of all of ours, I think, Mr. Herbert Kilpin, started AC Milan, or as we know of it today, as AC Milan. He started Milan Football and Cricket Club back in 1899, and cricket was a sport that was played in Europe alongside football, and it was enjoyed by Europeans. And we've got cricket with a Q in France in 1478. On history, and it doesn't seem to be croquet to me. It seems to be cricket with a bat and ball. Cricket in Italy, 1793. Cricket in Spain in the early 1800s. Cricket in Denmark in 1866, as you know. The KNCB beforehand is the Netherlands Cricket Board, a long time ago in 1883. Genoa today is still Genoa Cricket and Football Club. AC Milan, as I just spoke about already, and the Deutsche Fußball- und Cricket-Verbund, which was founded in 1891 and then broke up. Rungham?
There's Romania at 1893.
1893. There you go. So there's a lot of rich history in cricket in Europe. But in the next 25 years, we have the chance now to make cricket mainstream. I think we can. I didn't expect to get emotional, but I am. Anyway, what I'm looking at here is that my dad didn't put a cover fieldsman in. Obviously I can see a gap there. But that's me as a 2-year-old picking up the bat back in Australia. Then in 2016, myself, James and Jonty in the room here now, we started German Cricket TV. Effectively, we ended up buying 18 GoPros. You can see throughout the room there, a whole heap of batteries, and we started travelling around Germany, filming and live streaming cricket in Germany. And as soon as we started doing this, what we found was that there was a truckload of cricketers and cricket lovers all throughout Germany in every corner of the country. So we did this for around 2 years. We started live streaming cricket matches, as we know, 50 over and 20 over. While we were live streaming the matches, we were also watching live streamed matches from the test match that was on. And what we saw was that people really genuinely wanted to watch live streamed cricket in Europe. And this was blowing us away. Then this guy came along. So that's our son, Manuela, in the audience here as well. And that was a defining moment for me because I thought, look, if he is going to play cricket, if he is going to be a 5-year-old, picks up the bat for the first time, then we need clubs playing cricket for 5-year-olds, right? So German Cricket TV was continuing. I got invited to ice cricket and cricket on ice in St. Moritz, and you can see there that I'd struggle against the spinners in the subcontinent with the bat so far forward in front of the pad. But what ended up happening here was the ice cricket event had a gala dinner that night, and it meant that I met Roger Finer to my right here. Now we had dinner sitting next to the guy called Mike Hussey. There were some other cricketing rascals in the room, and we just had a lot of fun. But I was on the table next to Roger. I told Roger about German Cricket TV. I told him about the immigrants that were playing cricket like crazy and loved the sport so much. I told him about the numbers we were getting from German Cricket TV and the way we were live streaming cricket in Europe. And he thought, hey, this is interesting, right? So the very next morning, we were back on the ice for this ice cricket event. I met Roger again. Hey, Danny, I've got some photos of you, me, and Mr. Cricket. He realised Mr. Cricket was Mike Hussey because I told him. Pretty pumped about that. And Roger said, hey, I've got 2 guys I want to introduce you to. Those 2 guys were Frank and Thomas that are in the room tonight. I said, oh, okay, yeah, I'd love to meet these guys. What do they do? He said, oh, they started the Champions League. And I said, which Champions League? I said, oh, the UEFA Champions League. I said, okay, well, we should probably get to meet these guys. So Roger made the introduction. And all 4 of us had a meeting in Zurich, firstly, and then we went down to Manga, got to know each other better, And we came up with the concept of the European Cricket League being the Champions League of cricket in Europe, just as UEFA has worked so well, being a club-based competition. We also, because of German Cricket TV, decided that we need to create the European Cricket Network, because if people are going to play cricket, then we need to watch cricket. So the European Cricket Network is that supplement to the European Cricket League. So we created those two concepts, the European Cricket League, the European Cricket Network, and then I went around and spoke to you people who were wonderful in your appreciation of what I was trying to do, and I am very grateful for that. And now we're in a position where we've got 8 federations to start this thing. We've got Spanholm from Denmark, we've got Ville de Dreux from France, we've got Bremen Cricket SG Findorf from Germany, Zanjua from Brescia, Italy with Callum, VOC from the Netherlands, Cluj Cricket Club from Romania, St. Petersburg from Russia, and Catalunya Cricket Club. Yeah, you're in as well. And it's a defining moment for each of these countries and each of these clubs, because all of a sudden they can be the champions of Europe, right? And we've decided to start with 8 teams. It's 2 groups of 4, similar to how football started. We'd love to have everyone in. One day we will. But in the early stages, 8 countries were selected. Without further ado, I'd love to start to introduce you to now my team and my friends and people that will be your friends as well, as we're committed to building cricket in Europe. So if I could now introduce Frank to the stage, and he can say a few words without being as emotional as me.
Well, it is an emotional day. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for having us here with you. I think it's one of these days which will go into the history of sport. At least that's what we think, what we aim for, and what we also believe in. But maybe first a quick introduction to what we have done in our professional life. If you see on the next slide, I mean, when I speak about Thomas, who will come after me, and myself, we worked a lot in sports marketing in football, in basketball, but not only, because today we'll talk a lot about Champions League and the Champions League of cricket and whatever, and that's of course a defining path of what we had the opportunity to work on in the very early days, 92, 93, when it didn't exist, the Champions League, and now fast forward, it's a brand. It's more than a brand. But actually, you know, we like to work on projects to make a difference, and we also made projects a difference, including something very unlikely maybe for some of you, the Eurovision Song Contest, which was, a blockbuster property on television, but we had the opportunity to work with that property to create a brand and to create consistency. Roger, who you all know, specifically worked a lot in the world of football, skiing, broadcasting, and of course Daniel, you know, together with the German friends here, as the initiator of the success story German Cricket TV. So speaking a little bit for myself also and for ourselves, when it comes to sports and properties, we like to look at properties where you can make a difference, not purely financially also, but where you look back 5 years later and say, we left traces behind, and positive traces behind, where possible. So when Roger called me after this famous St. Moritz dinner, where they had far too much to drink and to smoke, and said, I met this guy Danny, and he's fantastic, and you should talk with him. I'm very honest. My first reaction was, Roger, we're wasting our time. We're wasting our time. Why? Because actually, if you can see in the next slide, I happen to be a guy in the Netherlands who played cricket. I played cricket in my youth in a hockey club, which was a cricket club in summer. And I loved it. I loved it. I went on cricket camps. I followed it. But this was the cricket I left behind. Geoffrey Boycott, Ian Botham, Viv Richards, all great stories. But in all fairness, it was, conservative. It was not accessible because it was all in white. It was 50 overs or test matches. And it was something where we had to drive to the Dutch coast to see the BBC to watch some cricket. You could, now it looks silly with the, you couldn't access, you couldn't see it. We went on a cricket camp to watch a movie of Viv Richards against Ian Botham. You couldn't access that anywhere. So when he came and said, cricket, let's talk about it, I said, listen, let's do something else. But then he convinced me to have this meeting with Danny in Zurich and with Thomas, and we went, and this was an eye-opener for us. Why? Because we realized, and I realized, that I left this behind, but cricket moved on. And actually, cricket is not an English game anymore, as I've seen somewhere. Cricket, had the introduction of T20. And it was not anymore the whole day sitting with tea time and whatever, but it was boom, boom, 3 hours and you have a result and entertainment and the way it was presented, number one. Number two, what I didn't realize, if you can see on the next slide, is that it is the migration factor. And I think Germany is a specific case where this migration factor has been enormously impacting also the development of the sports very positively across continental Europe. And last but not least, of course, this is our business, is sports and media. And what I said before, the BBC 1 and 2, or ITV 1 and 2, are, there's ITV 100,000 at the moment on the internet. I mean, it is, the digital play has opened up the opportunities and opened up the opportunities for the long tail, as they call this, also for the niche properties, but strong niche, passionate niche. I mean, you know this better than me. You deal with this. You are a niche, but one which has passion. That people that are there, that care for their sport, that care for the results, that want to know, that want to follow, and want to work with that. So in simple terms, when I looked at Daniel's and I saw his Facebook statistics, I said, shit, there must be something more there, because that is that's quite significant. If you go out with the crew, with the guys, and you get these kind of views. So we said, okay, if you take a white canvas, as they say, to look at it, to paint what you can do. I mean, if you look that's my humble opinion for the fan in Europe, you're poorly served in terms of having central statistics and results in one place, to have a platform for your community, not top down, but also about your own community. There is not a stage for the champion clubs in Europe to come together. Don't underestimate this. At the moment, your leagues you play, and the winner is the winner, but their story ends. Now, there is the European platform. And this will, in my opinion, this will elevate all your leagues. This will make it more interesting, because people want to see, am I better than the team from Romania or from France or from Germany? This will create a buzz, and this will also elevate the interest in your leagues to win that championship. They want to win it anyway, but it gives another sparkle. To create, more heroes, entertainment, a league, media coverage. And as I say, when I started looking at cricket again, when Daniel said, it was for me a mess to find out what is where. Piracy, websites, access, whatever. That's for me, at least. I found it difficult. So, then we said, let's see what we can do based on this. European Cricket League, create something as an aspiring on the European sports model. I think this is important. The European sports model is based on domestic federations and leagues and meritocracy. You qualify to play. You don't buy a ticket and you auction players, and what do? The European system is not that. And I think Europe wants leagues and competitions which are genuine. People want the teams to play and to qualify and to come through the system, to your systems. So that is the league. The network is more a platform, and we'll come back to it later, to bring the content together in a place where it's relevant for the community. And again, this is your community. I'm sure your community can all find the IPL results and ICC competitions, but there's a lot of interest in their own, on the roots. So, just closing this off, and before passing on to Thomas, I mean, we are excited to work with you guys. I mean, you know, by the way, you had a long day with meetings. You don't need a lot of more meetings and slides and whatever. Want to have a bit of fun also, and to give us a sparkle and come to the draw. We just want to say it's going to be a journey. This is a marathon, not a sprint. This is not going to happen overnight that cricket is the top in Europe in terms of visibility, media and whatever. It ain't going to be like that. But there is the potential to grow significantly. Support. All of this will need your support. We'll need the support of you and your community and your clubs to work together. It's not, you know, one-way street, and it requires interaction, specifically on the side of community, of the news, of sharing it. I mean, this is something you need to live. And then, I think the last point is benefits. I think that's what I truly believe is, I think those federations here that are going to be cooperating the most are the ones that are going to harvest the most. You know, I think, again, Germany is a case study in point, but I think if there is, you know, commitment and contribution to do it, then I think the benefit can be there both from the league as an aspiration as well as from the community as a digital play. So, thanks again. Let's make it a success, and you know, you're in the hands, the capable hands of two guys. We are super excited to help, and we will have the passion to go the marathon and not the sprint. So thanks for that.
Thank you, Frank. Good afternoon also from my side. It's a real pleasure to introduce myself to this distinguished group of cricket experts. I'm Swiss by nationality, and you know, Switzerland is not necessarily on top of the cricket national sports ranking, and also myself, I haven't played too many cricket games so far, but wait for it. I will come. Yeah, I will come. However, I have been I had the privilege of spending basically my entire professional life in the marketing of international sports events, of some huge sports events. Frank has already shown some of them. I have been involved in marketing of the FIFA World Cup, of the Olympic Games, of the Basketball World Cup, and for almost 20 years in the development of the UEFA Champions League. And I must say, I'm really excited to be part of this team, but I would also include all you experts in that team to make European Cricket League really get off the ground. And actually, when I look where we are here in this room on the development of our project, it reminds me very much of the development of the UEFA Champions League. And you have seen it started not yesterday, not the day before yesterday. It started back in 91, in 92. And we started with the so-called white sheet of paper approach. Yeah, we said what's needed to bring this football competition, which has been more or less a binational competition, on the European level. And I believe it would be quite a good idea to quickly look at some of the success factors which made it possible that this UEFA Champions League project, which started on a very low scale, and probably in the first workshop which we had, the attendance in the room was not bigger than what we have today. And in the meantime, obviously it has developed to a landmark sports marketing, sports competition project. So what have been some of the more important success factors? First of all, it was the concept, especially the sports concept. It was simple, clear to every fan on the street. Every champion of every country was able to compete to be the best club team in Europe. And it had to be a credible competition system. Nowadays, you know, you can question that because number 4 team of a national league, you know, can qualify for the Champions League. But we started with a pure, simple system as the European Cricket League. What is also important is the integration of all the stakeholders, being the sport of cricket, of media, broadcasters, sponsor partners, event facilities. They all need to work and be integrated in one concept to make sure that such a competition gets off the ground. A very important aspect is the quality aspect. Whatever you do in the concept development, servicing the partners, you know, the sports facilities, it needs to be top quality. And we are lucky enough, you know, to be able to play our games in La Manga. And the last point, that's a point which Frank has already touched on. We are a team. Cricket is a team sport. So let's also work as a team, and then I'm 100% sure that it should be possible to repeat step by step. It's a long journey. It's going to be a marathon to repeat a success of some properties which you have seen there. Talking about teamwork, I'm very happy to pass on now the microphone to my colleague, Roger. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Thomas, and all my other friends, as I may say by now, after a year working together. Roger Feiner, as you see, I also worked in various fields of sports, TV and marketing. So it's not about me, it's about you. And I don't want to bother you too much. You heard a lot about our interests, about our passion, which started a year ago, and I must honestly say, it's about passion. It was not about the drinks we've had in St. Moritz that I called you. It was something else. We understood, coming from a world where lots of sports are really, really well managed, well being broadcast all over. But cricket in Europe is something which is a miracle, something special, a secret for us coming from Switzerland, at least. So we started to get introduced into that sport, and we learned what it means. And we can definitely understand you, why you're standing behind, why you do the sport, why you support the sport, what you do on an everyday basis. So we are coming from there. But it's also important that we speak. If we may go to the next point. First about the facilities, quickly, that you have an overview here. So what we need a first-class event, as I said. If we want to celebrate such an event and bring it further to the world, we have to have a world-class facility. And to be honest, that's something we work on here in Europe. We need to find the right place, and the good places with the warm weather, where you can play on an everyday basis, where the broadcasters that expect our signals out there are sure they get it. So we need a bit of warm weather, and we found a world-class facility down there in La Manga, but we have to work a little bit around there. So we need to build a stadium, we need to create fan sectors, something you've maybe not experienced so far, I don't know, from where you're coming from, fan sectors, food and entertainment places, facilities. Also, the players have their own marquees, their own stands there, with the scaffolding for the cameras, for everything like that. So, training grounds, etc. So it needs to be a world-class setting. That's key, because the pictures, they go worldwide, and with these pictures, we want to celebrate your sport. And if we celebrate it well, we did a good job, and people will tell the others. That's important, you know. So. That's a bit of a sketch how it looks like then. We go further to, we go down to La Manga in a couple of weeks again with the TV partners. And if I may mention the TV partners, Quickly, some words about the broadcast itself. You have probably seen everything here, what we do, how we do. We do not speak about the format too much. It's about the T10, 3 days event in the first year. So it's for us a firework for the first year. We want to prove and we show the world what we can do with cricket. From 2020 onwards, we will play a 3 weeks event which goes longer, which has more broadcast appearance. So this year is really a firework story. And to do so, we need also to play very well with the broadcast situation. That means we have a world-class production team down there. It's NEP, who does also the coverage in Australia, for example, world-class people. We have a 12 hours live show every day. That's a lot. I mean, we are coming from, from ice hockey, from football, from all the other sports, so we know exactly 12 hours behind the camera. That's tough, guys. that's tough, but we will manage. So this is what we want to celebrate down there, of course, with studio shows, with daily highlights that we send around the world, with post-event shows, etc., etc. Everything that is state of the art in today's world of media sports. But that reminds me of something which you probably also carry to your clubs, to your people. This is a TV show. It's a TV show, and there is probably not all of you guys being familiar with such a situation. So we need to learn, we need to educate them a little bit to play on that field, to be on air, you know. So that's a way, a journey we have to go. Also the behavior, of course, also what we do, how we do it, and then of course the interviews. You know, that's brand new, that's media business, that's where we are coming from, and that's what makes the event so glorious at the very end and attractive for all the supporters, for all the sponsors, and of course for all the media people as well. So that's where we are coming from, a big broadcast show during these 3 days at least this year, and then a much longer platform by 2020. Next one, please. You probably have seen us wearing brand new New Balance shirts. Thank you for that. Shoes as well. So, Kookaburra bats, huh? So it started, and the companies start to understand there is something coming. Europe was a blank spot so far, and that's why we got in contact with them. Danny did a great job also with the suppliers. We have also Bizaway as a travel partner. We have Manga that will come a bit later, but I'm also very happy to introduce you to NEP, as I mentioned before, world-class production teams all over. They come down there to Manga, and we have Sports Division as a supplier already. So we will have world-class LED boards as well. We can play with the boards, we can build a kind of a key visual on the board, so it will be a very lovely stage we built there. So these are the suppliers already in. Of course, we work on the sponsorship side as well. So the sponsors want to know where are we seen. The broadcasters want to know what we do. This is a process, this is the journey we are in, but we are more than convinced to deliver. So that's a good story, and again, I'm more than happy to be part of this team and to also see you face to face the first time. And I'm more than sure it starts smaller, but it grows. We have already federations queuing, want to be in, and we want to do everything to build them the right platform. Thank you. This is now the moment where I hand over to Danny. It's his story. Thank you for your attention.
So introducing the second phase of our presentation tonight now, it's about this digital experience that we need to sit beside our European Cricket League. So if the European Cricket League happens for 3 days of the year and then 3 weeks of the year later on, we need to have a process where we can see what's happening in cricket in Europe on a day-to-day proposition 365 days a year. And in this day and age, I'm sure we've all got one of those 3 devices. So we need to be able to see it on an Apple TV. If we're streaming it to the big screen, we need to have it in our hands. We need to have it on our desks, on the tablet as well. So we want to be building a technology platform which is built for the mobile world that we're now living in. So launching in April will be the European Cricket Network. So at the moment, the focus is on live scoring, live streaming, the latest news from all your federations, and this is for the ECL, this is for the clubs, this is for your competitions. right? So when you think of who's, you know, in France, you're thinking about who's going to be the champion in Spain, you need to know that really quickly, you know, and we can in the football world, you know, which isn't my favourite world, but it's a world that we can compare ourselves to. If you want to know something in the football world, you know it really, really quickly. I want to be in that world where, in the cricket space, we know exactly where the league is in another country that we're competing in a Champions League basis, right? So the German Cricket TV experience showed me that all this can be done really quite easily when you have people that are involved that can live score on a phone, and people that want to be behind a camera to be able to film cricket matches and on a streaming basis. Because I can know if people start seeing the game, they want to play the game. If they play the game, they join a team, find a club. Clubs grow, federations grow, leagues grow, the whole thing grows. There's lots of good reasons in Germany, but Germany had 60 teams 5 years ago, now 270 teams. 370 teams. Yes, it is because of migration issues, etc., but it's also because German Cricket TV made it visible. And I want it to be visible in France, in Spain, in Holland, in Romania, Denmark, everywhere, in Russia. The more visible it is, the more people are aspiring to get involved and then get their 5-year-old kids involved. So that's being built now. What we're going to end up with is a scoring platform that we will be using for the European Cricket League, but we want to make it free and accessible for all our federations, so that in free, download the app and then can start scoring matches on the European Cricket Network, which will then be fed in directly to your federation, so that you can always see where the scores are, where the results are in an instant basis. Okay, then German Cricket TV had some great angles to it. We could set up many cameras. We could film cricket in Germany, but it was very hard to watch it for very long because there were no scores on the screen. So now we've got a technology platform that we're building to launch in April, which will let someone score on their smartphone, someone film it with a camera. That encoder will then match the two over each other, and then on quite an easy basis, we can watch cricket, see the scores, enjoy it, work out who's going to win, and then all of a sudden you don't watch something on Facebook for 10 seconds, you sit down and watch a game because you know the relevancy of the score, and that's something that's been really important for us on that German Cricket TV platform. How do we get scores on the screen? And that's what we're working to now on a technology basis. Okay, so what we want to end up with is we want to end up with that place, that digital destination, which will be your home for all of your data, so that the news from your clubs and federations can really easily get put in there. And then when you've got the news from cricket in your federation, in your country, in your club, and scores together, boom. You know, this is super important. Cricinfo gives us this. Not the live streaming, sorry, but you know, if we want cricket scores around the world, we can rely on, you know, certain places. We want to create something that you can rely on for Europe in our own backyards. Okay. So that's being built currently. It'll be launched in April. But what's important is that gets back to the teamwork again. So we need to talk to each of you, each of the federations, and actually say who in your federations are great social media people, who are great at writing match reports, who are great at doing scoring all the time, and let's work with them to get us all putting this community together, so that there's not disparate content all over Facebook or all over the web, but actually a hub where we can go in and get our news from. Now going back to the league again, we'll talk about something that's pretty important to the whole scenario, and that is the trophy. Right. So, unbelievably, well, you've seen our logo and it's got this crown in it, and I thought, well, you know, the Champions League cricket in Europe needs to crown the kings of Europe, right? So I thought, and we don't want a trophy because I like doing things differently, and we want a crown, right? So then, and I always got silly ideas anyway, so that's fine. But crazy ideas, as you're all sitting here listening to. But on LinkedIn, I typed in any trophy makers sort of in the network, and boom, 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 pop up to a guy in the room here, Sanjay. Now, Sanjay actually lives in Munich, right? Unbelievably. But Sanjay is a bit of a hero in the cricketing world, because he makes the trophies for the ICC, the Mumbai Indians, the Indian Olympic Committee, etc. A world-class trophy maker who lives 20 minutes down the road from where I live. So I was pretty excited about that. So now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce Sanjay to the.
Well, that's how it goes. Yeah. Thank you, Daniel, for the great introduction. Passion drives, success, great design, and in this case as well. I mean, you see passion kind of oozing everywhere in this room. For me as well, I mean, the trophy designing is sheerly out of passion. I was a regular corporate, managing director, running a few companies, and then the common part with ECL is that at a point in 2004, I was approached by someone in ICC who had seen some of the work I'd done as a hobby and wanted me to meet up Malcolm Speed, and his first words were, "Sanjay, I need the Oscar of cricket." And that similar passion had from Daniel came out to me, "Sanjay, I need to crown the champions of Europe." So from ICC award to the champions of Europe and his idea about the crown, I tried to put it all together, and what you see as a result, tell me. So there you go. So you have the crown. The champion will be crowned, and since Daniel wanted a crown to go on there, I gave him that option. The next slide. So it actually does come off. So if you wish to, then you can actually crown your champions. We'll make it to the right head size. So cricket has been a passion. I, in fact, about nearly 20 years ago, played in Munich while I was living here for a very short while. Mark, right here, I just met him today after 20 years, nearly again. We played on the same side. And from cricket, of course, I moved cricket, and that time my company sent me back to India to run the operations. And there, this whole story of trophies happened where I was winning trophies that weren't looking any good. And as an amateur, and I played a few amateur sports and on the India level where you just got horrible things as trophies. So I was quite disturbed by it as a hard-working amateur, and thereby I decided to design. I just thought, let me do it for myself. And one thing led to another, and before I knew it, I was doing for golf, for cricket, of course, for hockey, field hockey, for the Indian Soccer League. I do all their work as well. And in the meanwhile, it's become my main profession. And it's been such a pleasure meeting Daniel, because as I was saying, passion. End of the day, I think passion is what drives us all, and passion is what drives true success. Here again, I mean, Champions League, as was just told, was driven on a similar passion from really a room like this. I frankly see this going exactly the same way. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thanks, Sanjay. I mean, how cool is that? When I said to him that I want, the captain of St. Petersburg or VOC or Catalunya to wear the crown, and now, Sanjay, you should have told me that you should have gone through the technicals of this, but effectively there's magnets in here. This trophy is going to be this big, right? You hold up, you can take that crown off, and that will fit on an adult's head, right? So this is a big crown, and it's something that I'm really keen to wear, but I'm never going to wear the thing. So, yeah.
If you want me to add the technical details of it, it's 24 inches high. This trophy is 24 inches high. Of course, it requires various metals to merge together, and added to that, if you see, I'm putting together some exclusively sourced stones. These are Swarovski stones that are not produced very often. Plus, the ball that you see on top is made out of Swarovski crystals again. It is all handmade. It takes many hours and many trial and error runs to get it right. I'm quite confident it looks stunning here. In fact, this is just a 3D rendition. I think once the real version works up, that'll make a lot of difference. You'll see the sparkle much more.
Thank you. Wonderful. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so now the next That's a cool trophy. Honestly, that's wonderful. Yeah, thank you so much. And just the coincidences that happen in my life and the journey through Munich, etc., is just blows me away. And so to meet Sanjay in Munich, and then go down the path of creating an amazing trophy for the champions is super cool. Now I'd like to introduce Delphine to the stage. Without further ado.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Delphine. I'm in charge of the cricket sales at La Manga Club, also for tennis. I've been working at La Manga for 20 years, since last week. So I had a chance to be at the beginning of different sports like football. Also have some experience. We started in 1998, so we had a few top teams in the past, and the national teams also. So we have a great experience in organizing big events. But first of all, I'd like to say thank you to Roger and Daniel. They're the first people I met, and thank you for choosing us and trusting La Manga Club for the organization of this great event, and definitely will be the biggest cricket event we have this year. We have started already a very busy season. It's our first year as a really top cricket venue in Europe, because we inaugurated the center in May 2017. But we have started only using the grass facilities last year. So this year is really the kickoff for us. So far we have 5 counties training with us between February and March. So as we speak, we have Northants and Hampshire right now training. And tomorrow is the first game on grass. So they're going to play a couple of games, 50 overs. So it's tomorrow is the kickoff. And also we have recently recruited a top grandsman. So I can already confirm you that he's a great guy and top experience, because he comes from the Aegis Bowl, the stadium of Hampshire. So I can confirm you that by end of July the nets, the pitch will be in perfect conditions for this big great event. I mean, up to end of April, we have about 75 groups coming to train and play. We have quite a few 2020 tournaments with schools, clubs. We have a 2020 Classic tournament in collaboration with Cricket España and La Manga Cricket Club, with top UK clubs, premiership clubs. So, yeah, it's a really exciting year. And I'm very glad to be part of it. And I think cricket, you know, La Manga Club is one of the top sports and leisure resorts in Europe. We're existing for 46 years, and we are very well known for golf, but also tennis, football. But I really think that now cricket is going to be the next sport, and it's starting very quickly. We were not expecting such success the first year, because we only started promotion last summer. So having 5 counties in the first year, it's it's a good start, I think. And obviously, the European Cricket League event is the most important for us this year. And I think it's going to give us great coverage and will help to develop European cricket. Because at the moment, our clientele comes from mainly UK and Ireland, because as you know, we have 2 big partners, which are Cricket Ireland and Cricket Scotland. We have signed a 10 years partnership with them. So they are great supporters. And I think that, and also obviously we have also the ICC Ladies event in June. So we look forward to welcoming Germany. Hope you will win.
Netherlands are here as well.
Netherlands also, yeah, Netherlands, yeah. I mean, Netherlands, they were one of the first who have used our facility this year. We had the men's team and then the U18s. So thank you for trusting us also and choosing. Yeah, I hope so. So yeah, and special thanks also to John, who was the person who introduced me to Daniel and Roger. So I have left some brochures there on the table, but I'm here to help you, to give you as much as information as possible about the resort, and I invite you to come with your families and friends. It's a great place to spend holidays, and the weather will be great, I'm sure. Bring some sunscreen and hats. I mean, there will be a great atmosphere because it's peak season for us in summer, so I'm sure it will be a great success. Thank you.
Thank you, Delphine. The Manga is a wonderful place, but it just the spirit of the European summer holiday down there is really strong, right? So already we can see that there's a whole lot of people that want to come to watch the European Cricket League, whether it's friends or family or supporters. So we want to make it easy. At the moment, we're trying to organise you guys, and then once we've organised you guys and the clubs, then we want to make it far easier for people to come and watch, because cricket has to be about being there, watching it, but also having fun. So what we're going to do down in La Manga will be important for not only watching the games, but having a good time while you're there. So we look forward to watching that unfold. So now we'll move on to the live draw. I've never done a live draw before, so please bear with me for the live draw. But what will ensure is that it's done accurately. And we've got a lot of football people in the room that have been through this before. So what we're going to do is, to make sure it's all legitimate and notarised the German way, we'll actually live stream it on Facebook. Yeah, there's a few warm balls. Yeah, that's. So yeah, we thought we should have a bit of fun while we're doing it, right? So we'll live stream it. We'll do that together, and I'll just sort of get guidance from the crew back in the back there as to when we can start. If you give me a thumbs up, and then I'll know within a few moments that I can start, and we'll be on live around the world. All right, welcome everyone to the live draw of the European Cricket League 19. It's a special moment for everyone in the room here today, but on the audience on Facebook watching, because this is the Champions League of cricket in Europe, and we want to know who these clubs are playing in the rounds to qualify for the finals, and effectively see who is crowned the first champion of Europe. So, if I can ask Delphine to come to the stage. What we've got here in this very nice Kookaburra cricket ball bag is all of the balls, regulation white Kookaburra balls, which have the name of each of the club on them. Delphine will pick them up, and we'll see, not just yet, but we'll see who's in Group A, Team 1, then Group B, Team 1, and we'll keep going through the group until all 8 teams have been unfolded. So, just a recap of the teams again. We've got the Catalunya Cricket Club from Spain, Svanholm Cricket Club from Denmark, St. Petersburg Cricket Club from Russia, VOC Rotterdam from the Netherlands, SG Findorf from Germany, Cluj Cricket Club from Romania, Ville de Dreux Cricket Club from France, and JCC Brescia from Italy. So, if we're all ready to go now, Delphine, would you like to pick out the Kookaburra ball, which shows the team from Group A, Team 1? Oh, it's hot. No, it's not hot. Rotterdam. VOC Rotterdam. On the shiny new Kookaburra regulation white ball, which will be used in the tournament. Group A, Team 1. JCC Brescia from Italy in Group B. Callum looks mildly happy. Not sure why. Brescia, the champions. We actually got to watch Brescia play over the weekend, actually, in a live stream played in Switzerland. So we got to watch that. Brescia, Group B, Team 1. Next one, the cold ball, or the warm ball. Drew, Group A, Team 2. You got that one? Good luck to the Drew guys. They have some pretty hard competition in their domestic leagues. Yeah, congratulations to them for being champions last year. And I really, really look forward to seeing how Drew will compete in the ECL, because I know a lot of those players, just a little bit unknown, the unknown quantity before they move into into play against VOC in that first round. Team number 4. Catalunya. Group B, Team 2, Catalunya. Catalunya has already started their new domestic season, I believe, John, yes. Right? So, Catalunya were the champions of Spain last year. Group B. Group A, team number 3. From Romania, Cluj. There we go. I actually played, and I know the Romanian cricket story very well from being there 10 years ago to go and see cricket in Romania, and it's incredible the turf facilities that is in Romania, and the spirit and the energy of the guys there. So it'll be exciting to watch them play in Group A. Group A, Team 3. The next, Group B, Team 3. Thank you. SG Findorf from Bremen. There we go. So we've got several friends playing for the club. Beautifully organised club, success on and off the pitch. Extremely exciting what they're doing, and the passion that their club has already got in their preparations for the European Cricket League has been outstanding. So very excited to see how Bremen Bremen are confident, but let's see how they go in Group B, number 3. That's right. And the final group drawing. Svanholm from Denmark is in Group A. It gets exciting already. So Group A, the early potential favourites, Rotterdam and Svanholm in Group A together. Makes it very interesting. So Svanholm, there we go. And now Group B, the final spot. I haven't guessed it yet, but maybe you have. It's St. Petersburg. Now, when you talk about unknown quantities in cricket, it's going to be very, very interesting. In the squad for St. Petersburg Lions are some genuine Russian cricketers that are very, very keen and hungry and ambitious to take their cricket to the next level. So St. Petersburg Lions in Group B will be a very dark horse in relation to the European Cricket League. The unknown quantities here, I'm looking at it, there's some standouts in the cricket potential that I see, but where they all end up when they're in a T10 competition on a grass wicket in the heat of Spain will be very, very interesting to watch unfold. So thank you for the first round of the ECL 19, European Cricket League, the Champions League of cricket in Europe. It's all about to begin. We've got the 2 groups drawn now, and these clubs can start preparing on how they're going to battle it out to go to the next stage. We've got 2 groups of 4, will be a round robin basis, and then 2 semi-finals where 1 and 2 from Group A will play against 1 and 2 from Group B, and a crossover into a final. So it'll be fascinating to watch it unfold, and we thank you for joining us on the live stream today. And keep watching the European Cricket League on Facebook and social media to continue all the updates and join us on this journey, which will be very exciting to see who is the champion club of cricket in Europe. So thank you for joining us all today.